11, 12, 13. Oh my goodness, what is that about? Well, I've got a daughter who's 11, pushing 12, and I've been teaching middle school students for some years in the states of Florida and California and around the world in China and Thailand. And I know a thing or two about youth when they go through hormonal changes from adolescence into adulthood physically, but lack mentally and emotionally the internal stamina and the growth and maturity to be able to navigate, balance those nuances, and govern and guide themselves going forward into adulthood when they think they're yet an adult, but yet internally they've not yet arrived, but their physical body is telling them they have, and their hormones are driving them to do things they should not. So before you get focused on the makeup and the hair and the clothing, ladies, make sure you graduate from high school and university and get a good education and a good skill set and job training so you can provide for yourself financially, because a lot of these boys who say they love you, as I've learned teaching 12 and 13-year-old girls and watching them to come to class every week crying when a boy breaks their heart and suddenly breaks up with them after he got what he wanted from them, and the word love didn't last more than a week and it was proven to be just merely lust. You need to build a foundation, ladies, for your life on which to stand and go forth and succeed, so you don't need to lean upon a boy or a man, because a lot of these young men who claim to be men are just boys because they're still living with their mommy themselves and they can't put food in their own refrigerator, cook for themselves, wash their laundry, or work a job to sustain and provide for themselves, much less you. So you need to be wise and mature and understand what truly will endure, and true love can wait. And if there's no ring on your finger, there's no ring, this finger. If there's no ring, there's no ding. In other words, if they don't want to marry you, then they don't need to sleep with you. Wait until you get married before you open your legs and allow these boys into your life, because if you get pregnant prior to marriage and you're all alone raising the newborn, as I experienced when I taught as a teacher at the Beta Center in Central Florida, and I saw young ladies who were still 14, 15, 16 years old raising newborn babies while trying to graduate from high school. It's not easy. So don't be duped and deceived and deluded by your hormonal cravings and the seduction and fake words of these boys who flatter you. Because again, once they get what they got from you, they themselves are lacking inner maturity mentally and emotionally, and they have nothing to give you thereafter, because they themselves have not fully matured and entered into manhood and been able to sustain and provide for themselves, because they're still going through developmental processes likewise. And you need to first be a full-grown woman and mature and find a man who is godly and not self-seeking and merely seeking to eat your flesh, but rather to love and build a life with you and look at you from the inside out and build a true friendship from the inside out of mutual respect and have similar values and purpose and vision for your life. Otherwise, you're wasting your time, because two visions is division. And all of these important topics can be further tackled and discovered and read about in my book, Healthy Relationships, and another follow-up book titled Preparing for Marriage, to help young ladies. And there's another book called Self-Defense for Girls, when these boys try to touch you and get in your business at school and cross those boundaries and barriers that they should not. So God bless the young ladies of the world. I speak to them all the same when they're in my classes, and my own daughter. I'm not just picking and choosing. We all need this message, including full-grown women who sometimes settle for less. You can have more, ladies. Stop settling for less. Choose God's best. Amen.